Tell me the story of Costa Taco.
Well, I can start from the beginning. So, Shim and I are New Zealanders, along with my brother Matt, who's also my business partner. We used to sell New Zealand style meat pies at the farmers market. And so the climate, along with the soil, especially in the Tweed Valley, which is volcanic, is really similar to Mexico. So we thought that we could do this kind of local food concept where people would know that they could make Mexican food with this produce that was at the farmers market. So that was really the first idea. But what we did from then, we tried to reach out to other Mexicans that were at the farmers market and ask them what their take on Mexican food in Australia was like. And I remember I asked one night, if you wanted to go on a date with an Australian guy or girl and show them your culture and show them your food, like where would you take them? And they said it doesn't exist anywhere in Australia. That was the two kind of things that kicked it off, was the produce and the climate, and then like the lack of the authenticity. And so we started concepting, making different tacos, learning about the different food. At the time, Shim had just gone to Mexico, and so he had come back with a lot of great inspiration on what the dishes were supposed to be like, and how it actually tasted, what the tortillas were supposed to be like, and that kind of thing. And we started to do small pop-ups, which were really successful, and then we found our home here in Palm Beach, Gold Coast.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been to Mexico, and you've been to Mexico as well, right?
Yeah, 3 times in the last 2 years.
There's a lot of great ingredients in Mexico. What's your favorite, and how is that reflected in the food that I have in front of me?
I used to work at like a Mexican chain, Zambreros, and I'll try to emulate something like that at home. But with my little knowledge that I had, I would cook with paprika, cayenne, all those kind of chilies, cumin, everything else that like when you go to Mexico, they don't even have it. So as soon as I went to Mexico and I had those flavors, and you start to learn that the basis of Mexican food is their chilies, it inspired me to make it the way that they make it and start cooking with some real Mexican ingredients. And then I come back here, tell my friends, oh, it's weird. But then I could never find those flavors again. For me, that was the best part. And then trying to emulate that here and learning about cooking was my other favorite part.
You mentioned chilies. What's your favorite chili?
Guajillo has to be.
Nick?
Guajillo, sure.
Chile árbol. I'm from Mexico, so
Yeah.
I like stronger tastes,
Yeah.
really spicy ones.
Very potent, right?
Yes.
And it's very different to the Asian chili as well, right? Because the Asian chili has it sort of like the kick on the back, but
I always try to explain this to people.
Go.
Like, it's different the way that it's spicy and hot. When I say it's hot, it means like the chili has the flavor on it. It's not like the spice itself that is giving the flavor.
where do you get your inspiration for cooking?
Me and my brother, our grandma was a chef.
Alright.
She's Dutch, but she was like classically trained in that French style, and our whole life and our childhood was like grown up around like vegetable gardens, like cooking and family get-togethers that were based around food. And then my job before we started in Costa Taco was in marketing and advertising, but I always specialised in food and beverage.
What about you?
Well, being Samoan, food is pretty much half of our culture. When I came to Australia, and then I started cooking for myself. At first, I sucked at cooking. So I started learning a bit. Then I went traveling and did all of that. And then pretty much came back with my girlfriend. And every single time that I would cook for her, I would cook an extravaganza, a new recipe that I learned.
Yeah.
And it was just a way of me to express and show like my cultural side of loving food, but being able to give her like food that is delicious and healthy and fresh and everything else. So it's kind of just a way for me to show off, really. That's
Or to give something.
yeah, to give.
It's
It's my love language, I think. So.
Yeah. What about you?
In Mexico, we traditionally gather together and eat food with the grandmother all the time, and she creates like the most amazing food. So since I was a child, I was just watching my grandma gathering with all my cousins, and it was just part of the family reunions, just cook for everyone. Everyone just was making a different dish to share. And as well here in Australia, I get really inspired and motivated that people really appreciate what we eat back home.
Yeah.
And that's what I think makes me really proud of it.
It's all about the family and eating around the table, and that's what Mexican is very good at. What's your favorite taco?
Probably the birria.
Al pastor from Mexico City.
Yeah.
But in the restaurant, probably the pork carnitas taco.
For me, my favorite one is birria.
What's the one Mexican ingredient that you couldn't live without?
Lime.
Why lime?
I mean, it's the only thing that's with everything.
Yeah, in Mexico.
You know, with the margarita as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, corn. It's pretty much the basis of every single Mexican meals.
Avocado.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to try some of these tacos?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for having us.